Hello and welcome to the Collapse Experiment. What would you pay to have certain people out of your life? Interesting question, right? I was having this conversation last night with my wife. There's somebody that has, shown their true colors over the last couple years and basically is costing her quite a bit of money. And I think a lot of us have been down this road. And there's something that I saw a couple weeks back here on YouTube. And it was a clip from a movie. I don't remember if it was The Godfather or one of those movies, right? You know, one of those gangster movies that have all the same, like, 5 Italian guys in every single movie. Like Goodfellas, stuff like that. It could have been Goodfellas. Where this guy is saying, like, yeah, well, he owes me $20. I don't understand. I keep coming to him, asking him for my money. I know he's got the money, but he won't give it to me. Blah, blah, blah. Now he's avoiding me. Like, what do I do? Well, if you kick the shit out of him, you're not going to get your $20. If you get rid of him, you're not going to get your $20. And the lesson was, yeah, forget the $20 because you're never going to see this dude again, right? He's never going to be a part of your life. And considering his actions and seeing his true colors and who he really is, consider it the cost of having them no longer in your life. Now, it sucks because there's some people that will just royally screw you over to the point where it's a very, very deep cost, right? But at the same time, they know what they did. You know what they did. Are they ever going to come knocking on your door in the future, at any point, asking you for help? No. And that's where there's actually some comfort in that, right? Some mental security. It cost me this, however, I never have to deal with that person again. And in some cases, these are people that you've known for years. Something happens. You help them out because you, on the other hand, are a good friend. They, however, take advantage and screw you over by wasting your time, your effort, your emotions, and your resources, usually money. In the past, I've had people, friends, who are like, oh, you got that movie, can I borrow that? Well, then them borrowing that movie turns into somebody borrowing that movie from them. And before you know it, nobody knows who has that movie anymore, because once it leaves your hand, that movie is no longer your property. You have to trust that that person is going to hand that VHS tape, that DVD, which I know nobody does that anymore, right? Nobody has to worry about, you're the only person that has that nice copy of that Jet Li movie that just no video rental place seems to have, but everybody wants to watch. Well, if you've ever heard anybody talking about some communist ideas, realize that DVD is community property, right? That's how they view it. That's why they're borrowing it. Oh, I didn't know you wanted that back. Dude, are you, what? So yeah, when you're in your 20s, at least when Gen X was in their 20s, stuff like this used to happen all the time. Millennials, I'm sure millennials had to deal with some of this stuff too, right? where people borrow stuff. Where they're like, hey, I'm 20 bucks short. Can you help a brother out? And then you ask for that 20 bucks. What? And then they play dumb and they're like, yeah. Which means, wow, that favor that I did for you was so important. It wasn't one of your priorities to like pay it back, right? Because like 5 paydays have come and gone, but my $20 is still just in limbo, some nether region. Nope. And with this situation, I mean, we're talking out of thousands of dollars. This wasn't like an Amway scheme or anything like that. Nope. This was somebody literally destroying property slowly over time. And I had already been there with my house. So I kind of knew as to like what was happening, what was going to happen, but well, lessons are learned. Lessons are not paid attention to. And that's the part that sucks. So yeah, there was a comment made of like, after all this is over, I will never hear from this person again. And I'm just like, do you want to at this point? Are you going to consider this a loss? Because it seems like it was pretty much just a one-way relationship. Like, at what point did this person ever, aside from being nice and giving you attention, do anything to benefit you? And you know, I mentioned this at work the other day to a coworker, and young guy. I have to say that even for his age, he's in his early 20s. First thing that he said was, well, it's not their property, so they don't give a shit. I was like, damn, this dude, this guy, he's already got some life experience. He knows better. And unfortunately, things are not going well for him because he's been part of the layoff group. But he's been able to pick up some work with some family in the meantime. And no, I had a really good conversation with that guy the other day. And yes, I know I'm going off topic slightly. But I was like, you know, I warned you when you went full time. He's like, yeah, I know, but I really hoped it was going to turn out different for you. Because they let him go full time. This wasn't a, we'll just sabotage him to the point where we can get somebody else. No, he got all the tools. He was able to do it. He ended up getting a full-time position, but he was also part of that group that's been laid off forever. And I was really hoping. So I was like, oh, you know, we got new management. Maybe things will be different. Nope. No siree. And you know, maybe employers need to receive the same treatment of what I'm talking about. Like, you know, take a loss, but never deal with them again. Never ever go back to an ex, a former place of employment, or a city you used to live in. Just don't do it. No good comes out of it. Same thing. That's the part that sucks about like living in a place, especially if you've been there either a long time or you've always been there, right? And you have that person that owes you 20 bucks. Years later, you're strolling through Meijer. You have your shopping cart. You go around the corner. And there's that asshole who still owes you 20 bucks. And what are they going to do? Oh, shit. Ugh. And they book it down the other side of the aisle. No, hi, hello. Hey, I got 20 bucks in my wallet. I'm really sorry about that. I'll try to be a better person from now on. Nope. Total avoidance. Is it shame? No. Because once you give them your money, it's no longer your money. It's their money, and it will remain their money. Did that person ever loan you 20 bucks ever? They sure as hell wanted yours. It's a good question to ask when you meet somebody. Because I've had 3 friends over the years, close friends. I am currently only friends with one of them. And at some point during our friendship, I was the guy who, when something happened, wife kicked him out, got evicted. Whose house did they go to get back on their feet? So yeah, I've been there. I've had those friends. But there was one in particular who stayed as long as he needed to. I think he was only there for like 3 days, and then he found a place and he was out the door. Didn't trash my house, didn't eat all my food, offered me money, which I declined. I was like, nope, like, you need to get back on your feet. You know, if I ever am in a situation in the future like this, I hope your door is open to me. And to this day, I think I'm pretty darn sure it would be, right? Because me and him are still in touch. The other 2, no. Is it sad? Yes. But at the same time, you gotta learn about people's true colors. And you gotta ask yourself these questions like, if I was ever in a horrible situation, would I be able to go to their place, knock on their door, and I would have a place to stay until I got back on my feet? And if the answer is no, or I don't feel comfortable with that, stop wasting your time. That's not a friendship. That's an acquaintance. Usually of convenience, because everybody is lonely and they want somebody to hang out with. But nobody develops friendships anymore. And hey, my track record, look at that. 2 out of 3 failed. Kind of like marriages. What, the majority of marriages don't last these days? Well, it's only at 45%. Bullshit. Nope. It is definitely higher than that. I have seen statistically way too many come and go at the different places that I've worked at to know that it's not 45%. No, when I was in high school, they were saying it was 50%. And it's more common now than it was then. So I don't want to hear this 45% BS. So what would you pay to have that person in your life that is a burden, making you miserable, you just don't want to deal with them anymore, to go away permanently? Never have to deal with them again. And no, I'm not talking about like hiring a hitman. I'm just saying you never have to deal with them in your life ever again. Don't want to see them. I don't want to hear about them. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to see their post on Facebook or Instagram. I just want them gone out of my life. And in this situation, it is a high cost. And while technically my wife could take this person to court for the damages, you can't get blood from a stone if there is nothing there. So yeah, again, no accountability for anything from some of these people. And it sucks. My own parents have gone through this with rental properties. There's a deposit. The damages are 5 times the amount of the deposit. They fight to get the deposit back, and it's like, dude, we got to repaint, fix the stove that you broke, tear out the carpeting that you never cleaned. We're basically gutting the apartment, and you want your deposit back? Yeah, I need it for my next apartment. Not our problem. Oh, by the way, we're taking you to court. And then maybe years later, you recoup your losses because you're able to get the court to garnish their tax refunds. And then at some point, they just stop filing taxes because they're like, they're not getting my money. People are just insane and horrible, and they suck. Human beings suck. And, you know, some of the things that you think would make it the foundation of a society, nobody abides by anymore. Being civilized is not part of modern culture. It's not. It's just, what can I get? When can I get it? Who can I get it from? Me. At any cost. This is how it is with dating life. This is how it is definitely with professional businesses, right? That whole culture, they don't give a shit about you. It's very apparent with the places that one of the places I'm working at now. They do not care. We want you to be loyal only to us, even if we give you no hours and take away your health insurance. When we call, you better show up. So this is what we're dealing with. And I think there's a lot of it, it comes from different places, right? Some people will say, well, it's lack of God. Nobody's going to church anymore. No, there were shitty people at church. There were some really shitty people at church. God wasn't helping in that situation. I think a lot of it is, where do we spend the majority of our time? At work. And then we learn this culture from how the business, the place that you work at, operates, right? How do they treat people? And then that becomes the social norm, because a third of your day is in this environment where you're interacting with other people, and the people that you're supposed to cow down to and respect for no reason other than they just got hired, right? And it's never hired for a good reason, like they were qualified for the job. No. You have these people who tower above you in positions of authority, and they treat people like this, and they're rewarded for it. Well, what does that teach the coworkers? And how are the coworkers going to teach each other? And what are they going to start doing at home and in their friendships and their personal life? Well, if they're successful and this is what they do with people, well, maybe I should just do the same thing. And this is where we're at. Everybody treating everybody like garbage because that's the only way to get ahead. To the point where you have to take a loss in order to get douchebags out of your life.